What's going on, YouTube? It's your girl Monique Nicole, and I am back with another video. Before we get started, honey, if you are new to my channel, please make sure you are subscribed. Go ahead and click the subscribe button down below, okay? And while you are at it, go ahead and click the thumbs up button to like this video, okay? It is an easy and free way to help support my channel, honey. I am trying to grow, you guys. Please help a sister out. Say it with me. Growth. Okay. So y'all already know how I do, baby. I ain't got to do no intro. Y'all already know impromptu. I was going to do this tomorrow and give y'all a nice little heads up, but something got added to my schedule. So I have to take care of some business tomorrow. DeMarcus, what's up, bro? DeMarcus coming in with Team Portia. DeMarcus, do you and your wife watch Housewives of Atlanta together? I'm just curious. I'm just curious to know what her viewpoints are when it comes to certain things. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I like Portia. I have a dislike towards Portia. So, the last two episodes, I actually liked Portia. Portia didn't really bother me too much. But we are not here today to talk about Portia. Although I think she will be mentioned in tonight's video because she did drop a little bit of tea and just background knowledge on her YouTube channel. It seems like everybody is going to the YouTube, It seems like everybody is following in Dr. Heavenly's footsteps from Married to Medicine. Everybody got a YouTube channel now, and I'm not knocking it. I think it's awesome because for a long time in reality television, there were a lot of restrictions, and the ladies could not publicly speak like this on a platform and share insight and share behind the scenes tea and all this. So now the ladies kind of like have a voice outside of filming, which I think everyone deserves. The wifey knows that Portia is my celebrity wife. Okay, I love that. I think everybody, married or not, should have a celebrity hall pass, even if it's just in our heads. I think it's cute and funny. So I definitely support that. Do you know that Portia was in? Yeah, I heard that Portia used to be a video girl, very similar to Brit Eady. So I am well aware that she used to be a little video girl, here in ATL back in the day. But that's okay. I don't judge. I'm not judgmental like that. So a lot of women were video, girls or vixens. Even Kenya Moore was infamously in a few videos. She was in Jay-Z's music video. I don't think it was Big Pimpin', but she was in one of Jay-Z's music videos in the 90s, early 2000s. What's up, Stephen Boo? I miss you, honey. All right, y'all. I wanted to address this last week, but I was traveling. Y'all know life has been kind of crazy for me the last few weeks. I got sick. I had a death in the family. I had to travel for said funeral. Then I came back, and a week later I had to go back on a plane. So it's been a little chaotic in Momo's world. So, but no matter the chaos, y'all know I always be on social media and I keep my ear to the streets. So I was very, well aware of the Brit Eady and Kenya Moore saga, and I've been itching to get on camera to talk to you guys. And you know what? Hindsight, I'm actually glad I waited because now I do have, a little bit more information than I did initially. I think we all have a little bit more information than we initially had. More things have come out. a lot of she say, a lot of people. We got Jessie Woo, who is a oh my god, Jessie, what is she? Singer, actress, influencer, YouTube. The list goes on and on. Love her. She revealed some tea because she's close to a lot of the Atlanta girlies. And you know, once you hit that scene and you attend certain events and you're cool with certain people, you do hear things. Now, of course, some things are rumors and some things are facts. That's for you to decipher with a little bit of discernment. But nonetheless, we've had Jessie Woo talk about this. We've had Funky Dineva talk about this. We've had the ladies themselves talk about it. Portia talked about it on her YouTube channel last week. And it seems that Kenya Moore is going to be breaking her, not really breaking her silence because she's been yapping about it, but Kenya is going to take to YouTube, I think this coming Friday, to tell her side of the story. And like I said, a lot has happened. Let me look at the comments before I dive in. Drew is boring to me. Okay, DeMarcus, how do I say this? I can see why you say that. I don't fully agree with you, but I do see why you said that. I do see why you said that. Kenya and Portia together would be interesting. I know, and I think they were gonna have a really good season together. All right, y'all. We gotta talk about it. And I'm gonna be honest, I am exhausted talking about Kenya Moore and Brit Eady and this entire thing. I feel like I've been hearing about this and talking about this for almost a year now. I worked a little bit on production this past season of Housewives of ATL. One of my acquaintances was one of the producers on this season. And, you know, I got a little bit of insight, not a lot, because they do keep it very close to the chest. So I will just say this. Behind the scenes, I was very much so aware of when the shit hit the fan with Kenya. I had known that she got suspended before it even hit the blogs. And I will say behind the scenes, when Kenya got removed from taping for the rest of the season, it did leave production a little bit in shambles. This is my perspective. I felt like the production and the network were a little discombobulated when this happened. I mean, you can tell that they did not see this coming. This was not on their bingo card. And I definitely felt it. Again, just the little bit of insight that I got during that time. I definitely felt a shift, and it felt very chaotic behind the scenes, to the point where even some of the production managers were like, I don't really know what's about to happen. You know what I mean? So let's talk about it, because I feel like with this situation, for me, it is not black and white. It is not a easy, this person is wrong, that, you know, and that person is right. It is not just an easy black and white situation. That's how I feel about it. I feel like it's a very complex and convoluted situation. And so we have to treat it as such. And if you guys know anything about me, I am a person that likes to try to see things from different perspectives and different lenses. That doesn't mean I'm going to agree with the different perspectives, but I at least am a person that tries to see things from a different perspective. Oh, God. So I'm going to hit the basics. I'm going to keep it real cute. Kenya Moore and Brit Eady got into it. I think this is the last episode me and Nita covered together on our reality TV talk. This was not Brit Eady. What's the girl's name? The woman's name. I'm sorry. I love her so much. I really like her. Oakley. Why don't I forget the woman's name? Whatever, Oakley. I feel so bad. The Oakley. What's the woman's name? Anyway, she had an event at the bank, okay, and the ladies arrived. And at this event, the girls got to arguing. Brit Eady got to fussing with Kenya, and it became a whole thing. And then it got crunk, and it seemed like Brit went from 0 to 50 in like 2 seconds. Now, according to Portia claims that, this is a heavily edited show. And although we got maybe 8 to 10 minutes of the argument, they argued for like over an hour. So there's a lot of context and dialogue that we did not see. Well, when leaving that event, things got crunk. And Brit Eady had a full-on meltdown, it seems, and was popping off and was talking all types of crap and saying, I don't play that. You got the wrong one. You got the wrong one. Because I keep pow-pows on me. I keep whips and pow-pows on me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. I got my pow-pow on me. Don't play with me. I'm not the one. I'm not the one. And a lot of us felt like, Brit, honey, you took it too far. It wasn't that deep. It wasn't that serious. Now you talking about pow pows. Like, girl, you only talk about pow pows. Like, I just feel like for me to talk about a pow pow in an argument, it's like we about to fight. And that means the other person really had to say something really egregious to me. So the viewers and even the cast members felt like Brit Eady was doing teen too much. Well, behind the scenes, now in the moment, I will say Kenya was, even when Brit Eady brought up the pow pow, I felt like Kenya Moore was very reserved and she definitely disengaged. She just ignored her and was very mature and handled it better than I've ever really seen Kenya handle any conflict, to be honest. Well, knowing Kenya, do not think for a second she let that go. After she left that night, trust and believe the next day she was on the phone with Portia and really talking to Portia about what happened and how she feels uncomfortable. Please know Kenya got in contact with not only production and the network, and basically felt like something should be done with Brit Eady's threatening remarks and her mentioning a pow pow and just her being perceived as someone who's dangerous and shouldn't be around. Or I think Kenya was really looking for just some type of reprimanding for Brit. Maybe not necessarily a firing per se, but definitely just some type of punishment or just some type of reprimanding to be done, especially with her being a newbie. We don't know this girl from a hole in the wall. And, as someone like myself who has been an avid housewife, viewer since 2008, we're talking 16 years ago, 16 years. We've never seen, even when shit got violent, we've just never seen nobody threatened with whips and pistols. Can I say pistols? Whatever. We ain't never seen that. So, it was a little alarming. You know what I'm saying? So I felt Kenya. I do feel like the network, and you guys, we have to change our like verbiage. I noticed that a lot of us, even myself, we sometimes resort to just saying production, production, production. And we have to remember the hierarchy. It's the network and there's production. And the network is NBC Universal and Bravo. And then there's the production company that the network hires to execute and produce said season. So please understand that it was not the production company that made the decision to halt filming with Kenya. It was 100,000% the network, i.e., NBC Universal, i.e., Bravo. Okay. Oh oh God, I don't know. I don't even know where to start because like I said, so much information has come out about this. And it is really hard for me to try to like narrow this down. And I really do want to like execute this well and get my point across to you guys. Because it's bled over so deeply into social media, and there are just the comment sections are horrendous and people are just being nasty to each other, and it's team Kenya and I'm not actually not seeing too much of team Brit. It seems like most people are on Kenya's side. Okay, so before I get into who's wrong, what's wrong, what I think with the specifics, I have to address the major issue that happened. So the pow pow threatening, after the pow pow threatening done by Miss Brit Eady, I think a few days, maybe a week, maybe less than a week went by, and it was Kenya Moore hair care. It was Kenya's grand opening of her salon, which is here in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, let me start with the positives. The salon was beautiful. You can tell Kenya put a lot of money, time, and dedication into this business venture, into this salon, into it. It was absolutely glamorous. And the grand opening itself was pretty dope. And sadly, Kenya chose this moment to be petty and get back at Brit Eady. And I think that disappointed me the most. But nonetheless, during her amazing, amazing grand opening of her salon, Brit Eady arrives, has a beautiful bouquet of flowers, and Kenya was like, okay, yeah, you can put those over there. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see you. Now, she does not kick out Brit Eady. And if you are an avid Housewife of Atlanta watcher, it is very rare for Kenya to not kick someone out. Kenya is the queen of kicking someone out of her event. Hell, she'll kick you out even if it's not your damn event. We know Kenya is the queen of telling somebody to get out, get off the boat, get out the house. She's the queen. And in fact, even Cynthia said to Brit, like, hey, now, girl, don't be surprised if Kenya kicks you out this damn place, because she ain't probably going to be one to fill your apology right now. Well, yeah, Kenya was not receptive to Brit Eady's apology, and the girl decided to leave. Well, when she left, Kenya twirled on down to hell. So Kenya took it upon herself to do a whole monologue of this woman, i.e. Brit Eady, who came for her the other night, and how bitches be coming for her, and y'all can't F with the queen bee, and y'all can't F with the peasants can't F with all of this, the whole diatribe of how Kenya is amazing, which she is. I do like Kenya for the most part. The crowd was entertained. Now, it was a little awkward. I'll be honest. I felt like it was awkward. And a lot of this to me is bad timing. Well, it got even more awkward, and Kenya brought out several blow up poster boards, of Brit Eady. First was, who is this? Like, who is this hoe? And it was highlighting the surgical work that she had done or whatever. Well, I think the third poster board had nude images of Brit Eady, and one of the images had her sucking a pee. And yeah, the ladies were the crowd was shocked. It was all types of reactions. People's jaws were dropped. Some people laughed. Some people were disgusted. Some people were just in shock. The consensus from the ladies were they felt like Kenya took it too far. Even, why am I calling this woman Charles Oakley? What is this woman's name, y'all? Oakley what? What's the girl's name? Angela Oakley. Sorry, y'all. Angela Oakley was disgusted. Shamia was like, Kenya, you're taking it too far. Angela was like, Kenya, you're taking it too far. Portia was visibly bothered. Cynthia was visibly bothered. Kelly walked out before the nude photo was even released. Nonetheless, you guys, everybody was disgusted. Okay, I'm rambling. It's been 20 minutes. Okay, let me get to the nitty-gritty. The nitty-gritty of my opinion is this, you guys. I think both ladies were wrong. Okay? I'm going to say this again. I think both women were wrong. I think Brit Eady was dead ass wrong for escalating the argument, basically threatening Kenya. I don't care how y'all want to slice it, dice it, whether it was passive or not. It could be perceived as a threat nonetheless. Okay. And I didn't like that she mentioned pow pow. I didn't like it. I felt like she took it too far. And I felt like Kenya took it extremely far. I think Kenya took it to hell by revealing this woman's, intimate photos and nude photos and her sucking a pee from how many years ago. I think it was terrible. I think I think it was terrible to do that to another woman. I think that it was terrible. How do I say that? I think it was absolutely egregious to do it at your grand opening. And I want to just take a minute for that. And I expect, like Cynthia, I kind of hold Kenya on a higher standard. Kenya has evolved somewhat from the problematic Kenya Moore that we met over 10 years ago. For many, many years, Kenya was the villain of RHOA. She was the villain. People loved her or hated her, right? She had a great fan base, but there was also a lot of people who did not like Kenya over the years, right? And I feel like Kenya is a very intelligent woman in real life, not just on TV, but in real life. I think she's very intelligent. I think she is very witty. I think she's charismatic. I think we've watched her over the years take on a lot of heat, a lot of criticism from the other ladies. We've seen Kenya be mistreated. We've seen a lot from Kenya, and Kenya is no martyr. She's done quite a lot of dirt as well. Y'all know I'm equal opportunist on my channel. I don't think anybody is above reproach. Hold on, I'm just rambling. Let me read some of y'all's comments. And honestly, shout out to Demarcus and Steven for being interactive with me in the chat. I'm giving grace to everybody because I know this was impromptu, but y'all know how I am. Y'all know I love it when you guys interact with me in the chat, because right now, I'm gonna be honest, it feels like I'm talking to myself, and I could have just recorded this, but it's no shade. It's hard talking in front of a camera and then like not getting any type of interaction. Okay, Portia is the villain of DeMarcus. I have to disagree. I think Brit Eady is actually the villain. Brit Eady is the new villain of RHOA, in my opinion. Do you think that Nene would get along with Brit? Honestly, I don't know. When Brit is being normal and is not displaying bouts of like anger, I think yes. But the way Brit is so quick to snap and get very hostile with people, I don't think Nene would like that. And that's just me guessing. RHOA star shared her final thoughts. Okay, I'll check it out. I love how you give me the headlines. I love Kenya, but if you guys know me, I don't think anybody in life, let alone reality TV, is above reproach. I think we all are subject to criticism, and we all should take constructive criticism, and we all can be corrected. And I stand very firmly. Hey, Monique 69 West Johnson. Thank you for coming by, girl. Appreciate you. What was I saying? Yeah, so back to what disappointed me the most. I really am disappointed that Kenya did this at her business, her place of business. It was a grand opening. It was a business launch to essentially the world, you guys, because this is filmed and this is going to air to millions of people. And for you to take this opportunity, not only is it being aired to millions of people, there are investors and vendors and different people who could have wanted to partner with her or would have invested in this business for her, with her, or whatever. And it's like, you just don't do this. Like, if you are a smart businesswoman, I don't care if you're entry level, I don't care if you have a startup business, I don't give a damn if you barely have 2 dimes to rub together. You are not going to do such an act and sabotage yourself at your place of business. Okay? Okay? You were just crying, Kenya, and I got to give you a little heat right now. I have your back on certain to an extent, but I got to give you some heat now, Sister Soldier. You sat there just a few days prior at this point and cried to Kelly about how you're scared, how you're nervous, how you put up you invested $400,000 into this, you blew most of your daughter's college fund. You did all of this talking about, this is for my daughter, this is for my daughter, in my Evelyn Lozado voice. This is for my daughter. This is for my daughter. All right, beloved. Well, if it's your damn daughter, I don't think your daughter want to see a girl sucking dick and poster plastered at your damn event. So it's just like, Kenya, what were you thinking? And the thing is, I don't think Kenya was thinking. Kenya is so smart. She's so freaking smart. And she's not only is she too smart for this bullshit, she's better than this. Okay. And I also just don't understand why anyone, especially another woman, would do this post the Me Too movement. I just think that and maybe I can see the bigger picture because I'm the outside looking in, right? And you can always give the best advice and you have the best insight when you're the outside looking in. But damn, girl, I've done things in the heat of the moment, but damn, and this wasn't the heat of the moment. This was premeditated. And look, I understand, and this is why I kind of twerk on the fence. Shout out to Kempire. I kind of twerk on the fence, right? Because I understand that at this moment, Kenya was seemingly a little desperate. And I mean that in the best way, meaning I think Kenya was really shocked and hurt that the powers that be did not reprimand Brit Eady. I think Kenya expected production and the network to kind of really address this in a better manner. Excuse me, and really have Kenya's back, being that Kenya has really brought so much success to the franchise for a decade or more. And I do think Kenya deserved more support from the powers that be. I really do. I really do think Kenya deserved more support from the network, from production. It seemingly, from Kenya's perspective, it just seemed like the situation, the threat from Brit got brushed off. And I definitely sympathize with Kenya on how hurt she felt and how upset she felt. So I do think Kenya was not in her right mind. I do not think she had her thinking cap on. And I think she acted out of emotion, which, if you're an adult, that's one of the worst things you can do, is to make a decision or act out of raw emotion, right? And this was definitely premeditated. So yes, Kenya was wrong for this. Kenya was dead wrong, but I do have sympathy for her and how the network handled the situation. Now, shout out to Jessie Woo. Jessie Woo went live last week, honey, and dropped a little dime, dropped a little sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. She dropped some alleged tea. Let me put my alleged banner up because I am a very tiny YouTuber who got her monetization snatched away, and I got no money for nobody to be suing my little broke ass. So let me just put alleged on my shit. Allegedly, Ming Lee. If you guys don't know who Ming Lee is a hair salon owner. She's a hairdresser. She styles hair and bundles and weaves. Ming Lee been in this hair business from like 2014. Like when I was in college, I'm sorry, 2011, 2012. Ming Lee was selling like the best bundles in Atlanta. Like she been actually, this is her wig. I'm sorry, this is Ming Lee's hair. I'm wearing her hair right now. So yes, Ming Lee, for the girls that don't know, is that she's that girl as far as in the beauty industry, the hair industry. She is an OG in the hair industry in Atlanta. So to give her flowers, I want to let y'all know who she was. Ming Lee, we did see her in the background. If you guys go back to episode 2 or 3, I don't know, when Kelly had her event at that whatever expensive shop at Phipps Plaza, and the girls dressed up and brought their kids. Ming Lee was in the background. Anyway, allegedly, according to Jessie Woo, Ming Lee was allegedly the person that gave Kenya the nude and explicit photos of Brit Eady. Now, Ming Lee has since denied the claims. I'll just say that I think that didn't just come out of nowhere. Jessie Woo did not pull that out of her ASS. And shout out to Color Me Pink, who is a big time YouTuber who covers all this reality TV stuff. She did some digging because she really is like an investigative reporter, honestly, and author. But she did some investigating. And apparently, you guys, last summer when they were filming, Brit Eady and Ming Lee got into it online. So allegedly, Brit Eady and Ming Lee dated the same guy, I guess, back in the day. I think Brit dated him first, and then Ming Lee dated him after. Oh, Lord, over a man, right? Anyway, I'm just going to say this. I think there is some truth to the fact that Kenya got the photos from Ming Lee. Her and Kenya are very close. And like I just told you guys, Ming Lee and Brit Eady had some history, some negative history. And they even went back and forth last summer during filming. So on Instagram, whatever. So I think it's possible, but of course Ming Lee denies it. Now Portia said on her YouTube channel, honey, I'm giving y'all all the tea. That's why y'all have to watch these people's YouTube channel. That's not Portia, that's Kenya. Because the girls be spilling the tea. They be spilling the tea, you guys. So Portia says also on her YouTube channel last week that allegedly it was actually one of the housewives who are currently on the show that also aided in Kenya getting those explicit photos of Brit Eady. So you guys, the plot thickens. Now we know Portia doesn't have the best credibility. DeMarcus, don't come for me. I know that's your girl, boo. We love Portia, but Portia has been known to lie a time or two, has been known to stretch the truth a time or two. So look, baby, I don't make the news. I just report it, love. But anyway, some people are a little apprehensive to believe Portia. Portia also stated on her YouTube channel that one of the housewives who is currently on the cast, allegedly, tried to get Kenya Moore fired. I repeat that again. Portia Williams on her YouTube channel last week said that one of the current housewives, one of the current peach holders, allegedly tried to get Kenya Summer Moore's fired this season, season 16. Now, let's do a little bit of guessing and process of elimination. I don't think, oh, did I mess up my eyebrow? This one looks a little, anyway. I don't think it would be Brit Eady, right? Because that's obvious. And Portia refers to the person as a bitch. So I feel like her and Brit are currently cool. They be kicking it. So I don't see her being like, yeah, that bitch on there trying to get Kenya fired. I don't see her talking derogatory like that about Brit Eady. So I'm not gonna say Brit Eady. I don't think it was Shamia. So I'm gonna eliminate Shamia. It wasn't Portia, so I'm gonna eliminate Portia. So that leaves us with Kelly, Angela Oakley, and Drew Sidora. Now, I'm torn. I'm very torn because Drew and Kenya are close friends. They became close. And even after this incident, Drew tried to defend Kenya. She did hold Kenya accountable for being wrong for the explicit photos, but I don't think it was Drew. So guys, drop down in the comments, replay crew, tell me who you think could have allegedly tried to get Kenya fired besides Brit, because it wasn't, Brit did, but Portia wasn't referencing Brit. Anyway, y'all, there's so much going on. Now, one thing I have to say two things that are bothering me right now online. Kenya, I love you. I got to come for you again, sister. Kenya is currently irking my nerves because Kenya, a few months ago, I think around the holiday season, Kenya went on an apology tour, okay? And she went on an episode with Tamron Hall and did a sit-down interview on the Tamron Hall show. And Kenya did explain that she felt threatened and she felt unsafe, and therefore she did react in a negative way. And Kenya on the Tamron Hall show, y'all can go on YouTube and find it, honey. Kenya did say that hindsight is 2020 and she does regret what she did. And she does have remorse for what she did. However, she felt her back was up against the wall. She felt threatened. She felt unsafe. And that's how she reacted. It wasn't the right reaction, but that is why she reacted the way she did. And at that time, I felt like I could respect it. And even right now, I can respect what Kenya said. I can respect anybody that says, hey, this was done to me. I reacted poorly. I reacted out of emotion. It was the wrong reaction to have. I have remorse for said reaction. This is what I was feeling, and I reacted negatively, and I apologize for said reaction. I can appreciate anyone who does that. How can you not? However, the issue that I have now with Kenya is that she is backpedaling, and I hate people who backpedal. You went on the Tamron Hall show and you said what I just said. what I just told you guys. That's what Kenya said. And I was all for it. I supported her. What Kenya is doing now on social media is manipulating. She's backpedaling and she is completely gaslighting not only the audience, not only the network, but some of her co-stars. Actually, ever since this episode, she's been on Twitter heavy. She's been on Instagram heavy saying, I'm vindicated, which I think she was vindicated to an extent. I do think Kenya was vindicated to an extent, okay? Not fully, but partially. Ever since this episode aired, honey, Kenya has been yapping her gum. She's been going in, saying, just going in, throwing shade at the network, throwing shade at the production company, and throwing shade at some of her co-stars. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute, my love. You went on a whole apology tour just a couple months ago, and now you're on the internet streets coming for Cynthia Bailey, who has been nothing but a good freaking friend to you, a friend who is honest to you, a friend who has supported you, and a friend who's been loyal to you, and a friend who has held you accountable. Kenya, you want to go on the internet now and be a thug and come for Cynthia and try to act like she's fake and she's shady? Cynthia did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with her response. In the moment, at the grand opening, she said, Kenya, I love you. I think you are bigger than this. I think you are better than this. I do not approve of this. Let's talk later. Because she did not want to reprimand her on camera. She said, I love you. You are bigger than this. You are better than this. We'll talk off camera. I love you. I'm going to leave now. We'll talk. Cynthia did nothing wrong. She didn't lash out. She didn't go in on Kenya. She still hasn't done that in any of Cynthia's interviews. She has not defamed Kenya's name or reputation. She has not called Kenya out of her name. She has not done anything. She has always said, not always, but she has recently said that, Brit took it too far and it wasn't cool what she did. But Kenya, my love, you also took it too far. And you guys, this is when it comes to Kenya and Brit Eady, it really comes down to the saying that two things can be true at the same time. I think Brit Eady was dead ass wrong, and I think Kenya was dead ass wrong. And if I'm being honest with you guys, I feel like either neither of them should have been punished or both of them should have been punished. I'm going to say that again. When it comes to these two ladies, I think neither of them should have been punished, and Bravo and NBC Universal, Kenya and her attorneys, Brit and her attorneys should have all sat down and came to an agreement and come to a kumbaya session. And I think the ladies should have just called it even. As much as I do not like what Kenya did, I do not think that Kenya should have been suspended for the entire remaining of the season. I absolutely do not think that should have happened. I will always say that I think either none of the ladies should have been punished or both of them should have been punished. And honestly, you guys, what I gather from this, Brit allegedly, but I have, good reason to say this is true. Allegedly, Brit honestly just beat Kenya to the punch. Brit got her lawyers involved, y'all. Brit got her lawyers involved. If you look at the history of Bravo and all the controversy that has happened on all of the cities, including Atlanta, Bravo does not like to get lawyers and attorneys. They do not like it when things become a legal matter. Okay. They will do everything in their power to make it not become a legal matter. Think about all the egregious things that have happened over the years. You could even take the Candy and Phaedra and Portia incident. So I think that once, of course, Brit Eady being a newcomer, she got desperate and she got her lawyers involved. And I think once she got her lawyers involved, baby, they must have been top attorneys, because obviously they presented a case in a situation and an ultimatum to the network. And it seems like the network obliged them, obliged Brit Eady. Because if you ask me, I just think Kenya could have gotten a slap on the wrist, if I'm being, and this is not me being biased. I am not a Kenya Moore stan. Do I like Kenya? Yes. Do I admire her? Yes. Do I appreciate and admire her tenure on the show and what she contributed to the show? Absolutely. But I am not a Kenya Moore stan. I have no dog in this fight. I am not easily swayed one way or the other. And you guys who follow me, you know that. However, what the hell was I about to say? Shit. Brit beat Kenya to the punch. And what I think happened was Brit's lawyers delivered a good case against Bravo and against Kenya. And to make it right, they got rid of Kenya. What I was going to say was, I think if they were going to punish Kenya, I think Kenya's punishment should have been no more than suspending her for like 5 episodes. It's almost like the NBA, right? They get into a fight or something happens with one of the players. They don't just get kicked off the team, they get suspended. And so the suspension obviously hits their pockets, right? And when most of us get our money effed up or our money deducted, that's a great lesson that we all learn, right? So I feel like Kenya should have been just suspended for maybe 4 to 5 episodes, which would have equated to a lot of money for Kenya per her contract. And I think we really could have called it even. I think it was a bit extreme. I think it was a bit extreme for them to suspend her for the remaining season. I thought that was very extreme. Whether there was lawyers involved or not, I do think that they could have negotiated something. When I say they, I mean Kenya, her attorneys, Brit, her attorneys, NBC Universal. I think they all could have really negotiated this situation a little bit better and just suspended Kenya for like 4 to 5 episodes. Let's see what you guys are saying. Network had to oblige them. They worry about long-term detriment, so they don't want to. I mean, yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. I still think that I don't think the investigation was long enough behind the scenes, because I know the timeline of when Kenya was officially suspended before it made its way to the public. There was speculation, but I know when it happened. And I just think that, if I'm being frank, again, not being biased, I think Bravo and NBC Universal, I think they threw the towel in on Kenya way too soon. I think they really could have negotiated some things with Brit Eady and her attorneys and be like, look, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure these images don't see the light of day. We're going to blur it. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to suspend Kenya for 5 episodes. We're going to put her on suspension where she's going to lose money. We're going to do a whole thing to try to clean this up. I just think they could have fought a little bit harder. And but like I said, Brit Eady must have great attorneys, because bitch, hold on. I want to know, just me being interested into legal stuff. My dad's a lawyer. I've always been intrigued by the legal world. I do wonder what I wish I could be a fly in the room, because I would love to know the insight and the intricate details, because you guys have to understand, I'm sure you guys are aware, for Bravo to say, we're going to let go of Kenya Moore, one of our heavy hitters, one of our top dogs, and run the risk of this season plummeting to the ground. That means Brit Eady and her lawyers, that means they ate. They ate that shit because oh, it's a big deal. No matter what you feel about Kenya, this was a gamble for them. You know, this was a gamble. This was an all new cast. You know, not all new, but this was a majority new cast. And I know they were really banking on Kenya being an OG. You know, Kenya's great. Kenya is an OG. She gets the pot stirring. She's a bone carrier. She knows what questions to ask in the scenes. Kenya knows this reality TV shit like the back of her hand. So it just tells me that for the network to do what they did and let her go, that means they were really scared about Brit Eady's attorneys and what could happen. And like Monique Johnson said, the legal ramifications that could happen long term for the network. So you guys, this is such a shit show. And I feel like when you go back and rewatch that episode, and when everybody was leaving and Kenya read the room and read her co-stars like face, I mean, Drew's face, Portia's face, Cynthia's face, Angela's face, Shamia's face. I mean, everybody on the cast was disgusted and disappointed and shocked because Kenya, like Candace from Potomac, is a wordsmith. Kenya is intelligent. She's a wordsmith. She knows how to go back and forth. Kenya knows how to cut you to the white meat with her words. Now, she will pull some antics now. She will pull some bullshit antics, but I just feel like Kenya is just, we have watched Kenya really spar with these ladies, nitty gritty with these ladies for over a decade. And to see her go out like this and do some punk shit, I feel like Cynthia, I hold Kenya to a higher caliber. And I just feel like Kenya is better than this and bigger than this. And not only are you better and bigger than this, my love, you also jeopardize your business, your company, your $400,000 investment. You keep crying about how this is for your daughter. Kenya, when I tell you guys, I want to see Kenya win so bad because I have a soft spot for Kenya, how she was raised, how she grew up, her mother abandoning her, being from Detroit, just everything, making a name for herself, being the second Miss America, just everything she's been through. And then just being a single mom and like going through this terrible divorce with Mark. And it's just, I want to see her win. I want to see Kenya win. And her doing this, even though she's got a lot of supporters, like I said earlier in the video, you don't know what vendors, you don't know what investors saw, that you don't know, and different things hit people in a different way. Again, especially after the women's rights and the Me Too movement and this, and I'm just like, Kenya, the girl sucking a pee. Did you have to do that? I would have been okay with you showing her before surgery pictures. I would have been okay if you showing her boot up with Rick Ross and her titty hanging out. I would have been okay with you exposing some of her risque photos on the webcam show, whatever she did. There's so many other like things she could have, but the PP one, I think that was just too far. Now, another thing I don't like, and I'm about to wrap this up because it's been almost an hour. I do not like the fans. I'm going to be honest. Y'all are pissing me the fuck off. And not necessarily you guys. I say you guys, but y'all know I don't mean y'all. Hold on. Let me read some of the comments. Because y'all know I'm a certified yapper. Before this incident, they have been trying to fire Kenya. Oh, last season they didn't show their first. Yes, you're right. They didn't show. I don't know if it was her salon opening, but I know it was like, I think it was the process, right, of her building her salon. Am I wrong? Life is beautiful. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But I thought last season it was more so like a soft opening, or it was still they were still building her salon. But you're right, they did not show it. It was some type of event. You're right, surrounding her salon, and they didn't show it. You are right about that. I definitely could see Kenya more on Queen Court with Lee. Yes, I could see that. I could see that, DeMarcus. They don't care. They don't want Kenya anymore. They fired her when she got married without the show. Well, we have to be careful with that word firing. In the world of reality TV, it's not really a firing that happened in that situation. I like to call it putting I can't even talk, being put on pause. Um you're right. Kenya was placed on a little bloop. She was placed on pause. I also, from what Kenya has said out of her own mouth, I don't think it was 100% the network that just said, "Oh, we don't want you back because you're not showing your life." I think Kenya, again, from what she has said in previous interviews, Kenya consciously made the decision to not be on Housewives that season because she did have a very high risk pregnancy. And I think she was put on bed rest at some point. But I do remember her saying in previous interviews that it was a high risk pregnancy. And she just didn't want the stress of Housewives, very similar to Candace on Potomac. And, guys, when you're a woman of a certain age and you have what they call, I hate this word, they call it a geriatric pregnancy. Once you hit a certain age, you are high risk. You're very high risk. And so, but nonetheless, I don't want to go on a tangent. Nonetheless, yes. I don't think Kenya was fired. She was put on pause. Now the fans. I do feel like to protect my mental, I do need to just stay out of the comment section. It's so hard sometimes because it's a really bad habit. I'm so used to like watching something on Instagram, then going to the comment section. Because typically I do like to hear people's different perspectives, even if they're different than mine. But right now, the world we're living in, especially this new age world of like reality TV, the fans are very vicious. The fans play favorites. The fans are very one-sided. You cannot have an articulate and intelligent debate anymore in the comments. It's a whole bunch of name calling and just derogatoriness. And if that's even a word that I just made up, it's very nasty. And I don't operate like that. I don't operate well in that type of negative, again, you're talking to a girl who was on the fucking debate team in high school. I love a good debate. I love an educated debate. And I like to hear different perspectives. I don't like the nastiness. And at first I thought it was just specific shows, but now I'm seeing that no, it's people and it's the current state of reality TV. And guys, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it. I don't like it. And I have to really do some soul searching because it's either I'm going to stop reviewing reality TV or I'm just going to have to be disciplined with myself and not read the comments because people are very nasty and it's just very negative. It's always I'm team this, I'm team that. If I say something that's different than the majority, then I'm a this and I'm a sellout and I'm stupid and I can't operate like that. Like it's just very negative. So with that being said, I have been very exhausted reading the comments, listening to other YouTubers, doing the whole shebang. I've been very exhausted for like the last 2 weeks with this whole Brit Eady versus Kenya Moore situation. Again, my stance before I end this video, my stance is both ladies were wrong. I do think Brit Eady should have been reprimanded. One, because she is brand new, not to pick on the newbie, but because she's brand new. I do think the network should have taught her a lesson and kind of let her know the standards. Like, hey, we don't do that over here, beloved. This is not Love and Hip Hop. This is not Zeus. You can't threaten people with a gun. I think Brit should have been suspended for 3 or 4 episodes. And then none of this would have happened, right? I think if Kenya felt protected, and valued and cared for, none of this would have happened. But in life, there's such a thing as cause and effect. And when we react and when we do things, there are consequences for our actions, no matter how we feel, even if we are justified to an extent. That is part of life. I don't care if someone walked up to me and said, "Yeah, you and your dead grandmama, that's what." Just because they said something egregious and hurtful and I want to whoop their ass, that doesn't mean I can just go hit them aside the head with the bottle, because that's assault. You know what I'm saying? So there's a cause and effect. We as adults in society, no matter if we think it's justified, we are going to be held responsible for our actions, whether big or small. And so, like I said, I think both ladies were dead ass wrong. I do think Brit should have been suspended for a few episodes. I do think the network should have protected Kenya more. However, I think Kenya was dead ass wrong with the posters. I do not care to argue with anybody about how old she was, if she was sucking dick, if she was a video. All of that is irrelevant in the court of law, not court of public opinion. In the court of law, a judge would not give a damn about any of that. They would deem that as irrelevant. Okay. So please, y'all, in the comments, miss me with the, oh, well, you can't just threaten somebody with the pow and expect. Well, my love, in real life, there's, again, but if I say that, if I defend Kenya, the Kenya fans love me. The minute I hold Kenya accountable and critique her, that I'm the devil, I hate Black women, it's just like I feel like I cannot win with people. And I'm very thankful for my YouTube subscribers and supporters, because you guys don't make me feel that way per se. It's more so social media and people on Twitter and people on Instagram. And so I really do pray that my YouTube channel can continue to remain a safe space for me to get out my thoughts and for me to be objective and for me to, look at both sides and really like have real logical, rational, and intellectual conversations with you guys. But I will be very honest with you. The minute I feel like my YouTube is no longer a safe space for me, I will not be doing reality TV reviews anymore, because the fans are very toxic. And while I do have thick skin, I am still a human being, and I refuse to be, ripped to shreds because I have a different opinion, respectfully too. I'm not even like an asshole about it. Life is beautiful. That is not true. The show was upset with her because she got married with no, they were. I do remember that. Now, I'm just telling you what Kenya said. Now, whether Kenya lied or was just saying that to cover up for the fact that the network put her on pause, I don't know, because I wasn't in those rooms. But I'm just telling you what Kenya said. But you are right. I do remember that the network was not happy with Kenya. You are right about that. There is no comparison. Brit didn't threaten her saying you have guns is not a threat or legal. Yeah, I mean, I disagree because it was a threat, but I agree with you in the sense of what Kenya did could be deemed as criminal. And to agree with your point, I think you're right. And I think that's why the network sided with Brit and her attorneys, because when you compare the two, one outweighs the other, So, you bring up a really good point. In the court of law, what Brit did was not exactly. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I may have to write this in the comment section the next time, the Kenya stands come for me again for holding her accountable. I'm going to put what you said, which you're absolutely right. In the court of law, what Brit did is not illegal, but what Kenya did could be deemed as illegal in the state of Georgia. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Oh, okay. You're referencing the baby thing. Hey, you might be right. I don't know, baby. That was, that was many years ago. So yeah, guys, I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I'm sure I could expound even more on it because, like I said, it's tit for tat. Kenya was in the comment section throwing shade at Cynthia, throwing shade at Portia, which I found her throwing shade at Cynthia to be really disgusting because, like I said, Cynthia did nothing wrong. Um, and Cynthia, according to Cynthia, Cynthia tried to reach out to Kenya a few times. Initially after the incident, they were texting each other and stuff like that. And then, after that, it's like Kenya just ignored Cynthia. Cynthia reached out multiple times, text and called Kenya, and hasn't talked to her. And I just feel like, Kenya, you're mad at everybody, my love, but all you can be mad at is yourself, and maybe the network because you felt like they didn't protect you in the moment. But I just feel like to take your anger out on Cynthia, who has done nothing but be a good friend to you, I just thought that was very distasteful. Very distasteful. Kenya's display on social media this past week with certain things, to me, was very distasteful. I'm going to be honest. I don't appreciate her acting like Cynthia is a fake friend or Cynthia didn't have her back. Like, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And according to Portia said she was on the phone with Kenya all day, the day after, a couple days after the incident, and meaning after the pow pow threat. And, Portia allegedly called the network, called the powers that be, and vouched for Kenya and pleaded that, hey, Brit's a newbie. Maybe there should be something done. A partial suspension, not a firing, but just, it's just, Kenya, I feel for you to an extent. I do. I promise I do. But beloved, you took it too far. And I'm just sick of the fans gaslighting me and I'm reading the comments like, oh, well, technically this and technically Brit is this and Brit is a hoe and it doesn't matter if the girl was a hoe. It don't matter. It don't matter if she posed for Playboy. It don't matter if she was a video vixen. It don't matter that she got surgery done. It don't matter that she sucked her ex-boyfriend's pee. It don't matter that she dated Rick Ross. None of that matters in the court of law. None of that matters. All irrelevant. So, what I would love Kenya to do is stop this rampage on the internet and stick with the same rhetoric that she was stating a few months ago on the Tamron Hall show, which was, I felt like I wasn't being protected. I felt like I was threatened and I reacted poorly. I regret the way I reacted. While I understood my feelings about why I reacted, I should not have reacted that way. And hindsight is 2020. And I apologize. I take responsibility. That, Kenya, you catch more bees with honey. You catch more bees with honey. And I think that route would have helped Kenya. Now, Kenya going live on, I don't know about live, but Kenya is going on her YouTube channel this Friday. Y'all, I'm going to have to go back live next week after this because whatever Kenya says on her YouTube channel, you guys mark my words. Whatever Kenya says on her YouTube channel is going to determine her relationship moving forward with Bravo and NBC Universal. Because depending on what she says, if she comes after the network and if she spills certain things, I don't know who's on her camp, who's on her team. My thing is, Kenya, a little wise advice from me. Who am I? But if you want to stay in good relation with the network, I would be very, very, very careful about what you discuss on Friday on your YouTube channel about all of this. I would be very careful about what you do, what you say, what you share, what you reveal, what you express. I would be very careful because, my love, you saw what they did with Nene. Now, Nene brought some of that on herself, but you saw how they got rid of the queen bee of RHOA, the most quotable housewife in history. One of the highest paid housewives in history. Y'all, Kenya, you saw what they did to Nene, girl. I would be very careful. And mark my words, guys, I think this is going to make or break Kenya. When she goes on her YouTube channel Friday, it's going to make or break her, you guys. Don't be surprised if this, I don't know where Kenya's head at is right now. The way she's been tweeting up a storm and carrying on online. Kenya Summer Moore, I like you, sister. You're a legend on the show, honey, but you might not be on the show next season if I'd be very careful, sister. Y'all, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. I think I've exhausted the issue, the topic. Unfortunately, this is not gonna be the last time that I talk about this, because like I said, everybody and their mama is getting on YouTube. Everybody and their mama is spilling behind the scenes tea. More and more is getting revealed about this situation. And Kenya Summer Moore is going on YouTube on Friday to tell her side of the story. So I'm going to have to cover that as well. I have to talk to Nita the Diva because I'm not sure when we're going to get back together. You guys, I wish I could be consistent and just do every Tuesday at this time. I want to, and I was going to, but I did fly in Monday night late from New York. If you guys don't know, after 3 years of collaborating together, Nita the Diva and I finally met in person after 3 years, which is so crazy. So it was a really beautiful moment. We had a really great time together in New York City. We went to go see Othello. We went to go see the Broadway play starring the Denzel Washington, and Jake Gyllenhaal. I do have, I'm thinking about doing a review on the play. I just don't know if enough people are interested. A couple people have asked me about it, but I don't know if it's enough people and if it's worth my time doing. I think, you know what? I think if anything, I'll do like a TikTok. I think I'll do a quick like 3 to 5 minute video on TikTok about Othello and Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal and all that stuff. I think that's what I'll do. Nonetheless, me and Nita have to talk to figure out what we're going to do this week. Again, my week is thrown off because I just got back from New York Monday night. So my days this week are just all effed up. But moving forward, I do think me and Nita are going to be pretty consistent, at least with reality TV talk, being either every Tuesday or every Wednesday. So just look forward to that. I'm thinking Friday I will do like a hot topics video for you guys. And I also got to crank out a Raising Kanan review. So I got some catching up to do, you guys. I'm very overwhelmed. That's the only thing about going on vacation is when you come back, it's back to reality, back to stress, back to your problems, so I'm trying to get my ish together, which I feel like I'm always trying to get my ish together. I guess that's part of adulting. Last comment, Bravo and NBC are going to send someone to watch. Oh, you know it. Life is beautiful. You know it, honey. You know it. They love doing that. They love doing that. That is for sure. All right. I've talked enough. I'm about to lose my voice. Thank you to those that tuned in, to those that engaged with me in the chat. I really have to thank DeMarcus and Steven. You guys held it down. Y'all really held it down in the chat for me. Monique 69 Ways, sweetheart, thank you for stopping by and showing me some love. Miss you. We got to talk and, maybe collab on something soon. Life is beautiful. I think you were a new subscriber. I really appreciate you also tuning in with me, engaging with me, giving me your insight and opinions. I really appreciate it. And I, hope to see you again on one of my lives. And, definitely hit that subscribe button, honey, if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys. I really, really appreciate you guys. I really can't express how much I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And I will see you guys very, very, very soon, honey. And don't forget, replay crew, hit the like button and drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts, even if they're different than mine. I just ask that we keep it respectful. All right. Love you guys. Good night. Bye-bye.